And I think a lot of people don't even know the purpose. What's even the purpose of a good husband and a good wife?
Yeah.
It's like the wife won't let the husband lead. Like the wife fights the husband on everything. And I've also seen the husbands not love the wife. There are times where the husband won't love the wife, but those are the times where the husbands need to love the wife the most, is when he doesn't feel it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Veggie Bob Vlogs podcast, episode 11.
Ew, don't do that. You can't keep doing that.
I just did.
Well,
my name is Jimmy. This is my lovely wife, Bianca.
hello.
And today, before we start, there's just something I need to say to you.
Am I in trouble?
Why do you always think you're in trouble?
Because.
So, I have a surprise for my wife.
What's that?
Because I love her, and it's just a random Tuesday. I got her. Bro, you just like snagged it out of my hands.
Oh, wait. You can
Sorry, I mean, you already took it, so you might as well show them.
It's little. I don't know if you can see well.
They can see it.
It's Persian cat triplets. And they have the little foot. You have to drill holes in their
So
beds.
I can make them into like keychain or charm things.
Yeah, I know they have a bed. I don't care if it loses values because I'm not going to sell this. And if they do, well, they got a free charm.
Well, yeah,
Okay, it's not free,
that's
but
fine. Okay. So, are you happy?
what's going on? Like, look, I already got this guy. Now we got its little brother.
Yeah. So, dude, okay. So before we get into the podcast, I just want to share. So I was at the Walmart in Woodbridge at the club, and everybody's looking at me weird because Bianca put in my wallet this big poster, and it's got a list of all the figures you can get, right? So I have this thing unfolded, and I'm
You
like,
have it with you?
it was in my wallet.
Oh, I mean, you don't have it now.
No, I don't have it with me. And I'm just like, what the heck is this? I'm like, triple cats with it, and then I'm looking on the shelf, and I'm going through the shelves. Mind you, Walmart, it's hit or miss when it comes to like the organization of the shelves. Dude, stuff was everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So this I found. I got lucky because behind the shelves there was a box that wasn't open.
Okay.
Like it was still in the packaging. So I'm like, oh, so I opened it. And it was a brand new, fresh set. So in every box, there's 8 of them. There was only one of that. The rest were all mice. Mice and
Wait, this was a new package?
yeah,
like they didn't open it yet.
No, it wasn't open. So these are one of the rarer ones because for every 8, there's only one of which ones are these? The cats.
Persian cat.
So there was like 6 mice and then one of the rabbits and then one of that. And I'm like, oh, so these are like the rarer ones. So yeah, I was dude, I was literally in the toy aisle with the thing open like this. I'm like, what's the one she wants? Because a lot of them are so similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to get you another one, but I'm like, oh wait, no, you wanted the walking sunshine one, but they had the rainy one.
There was a raining one?
Yeah, you didn't put a heart on it.
Wait, what was the animal?
I think it was bunnies.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, right.
You knew.
So anyway, so I'm in Walmart and I'm like talking to myself, and people are just looking at me, and I'm like, I don't care. This is for my wife. This is what my wife wants. I don't care what people think of me. So, with that being said, husbands, if you truly love your wife, you don't care how ridiculous you look. You just want to make your wife happy. Dude, apparently I look ridiculous. Because people were looking at me, even the staff.
You had that.
No, I had my normal hat on.
Oh.
And I had my uniform on.
That doesn't help too.
Well, I think the whole thing was I had this piece of paper out and I'm going like this. And then I'm trying to cross-reference what's on the shelf. Like there was a lot to go through, so I was just going back and forth. But yeah. Are you happy?
I am.
That was your surprise.
Wow.
I know.
She lied to me.
I didn't lie to you. I just wanted to surprise you. See, this is what I don't get. Okay. Maybe wives out there. Like, why don't you like being surprised?
I do. I just don't like when you lie about it. Like, say there was a lady who bought 3 and then...
Okay, well, I didn't lie about this.
I'm not going to say what the previous surprise was, so it's not appropriate.
Oh.
Oh. I like surprises. I don't like when you twist the surprise and it's like, I'm going to have trust issues. That was
I didn't twist the surprise. I still gave that to you.
Not the previous surprise.
Yeah, I did. It was sticky.
Stop. Anyway.
If you can put 1 and 1 together.
Stop.
But are you happy?
I am.
I'm glad. So that's going to go with your other collection thing.
Can you drill the heads for the other ones?
Sure,
tonight?
I'll do that. Okay, so I guess this is kind of going to go into what we were going to what I wanted to talk about today, and it's what you put your focus on determines obviously the path you're going to go down, but it also determines who you are in your head and in your heart. Do you agree with that?
Mm.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say, I see myself as a loving and great husband. I see you as a loving and great wife. Okay, you gave that face. Do you not see yourself as a loving and great wife?
No.
Why?
Because I could do better. I mean, we could all do better.
We could all do better, though, but standing like as you are now, despite the fact of thinking we can always do better.
I think this is bad.
Okay.
I think there are times where it's like, I remember certain things that you say when you're, let's say, upset, and they're valid points. And then I take those parts and think that I'm not like a great wife because of my actions previously or whatnot, if that makes sense.
Okay. That's fair.
It's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. And what I was going to say to counter that is, remember, it's not your actions who determine who you are.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's what it is. So is that the battle you're having in your head?
Yeah.
It's like, Jimmy said this because I did this or I didn't do this, so therefore it makes me a bad wife. But it's like, but it's not what I do that determines who I am.
Yeah.
It's what God says about you that determines who you are, right? So I'm just saying what God says about you. And what I see, like how I see you, you're a good wife. And that's what you always have to keep in your head is, you know what? Even if I do make mistakes, I'm still a good wife. And you got to keep that mental focus because this is what I heard. And I'm going to keep saying this from now on. So the thoughts, the focus. So what we focus in our head determines the feelings in our hearts. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Which then in turn, the feelings in our hearts determines the actions we do.
I 100% agree.
Right? Like, I'll say that again. It's so deep, but I don't think a lot of people think about this.
No.
And this is just such a good way to say it. So I'll say it again. It's the focus in our heads, whatever we focus on in our heads, in our thoughts, determines the feelings in our heart. And then those feelings in our heart determines the actions with our hands or with the actions with our bodies, like what we do. Right? So let's just say, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's just say those times, this is where you fight with that. Am I a good wife? Am I not a good wife? Let's just say, oh, that's pretty fluffy. Sorry. Let's just say you aren't a good wife. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, the things you do lead to you not being a good wife. Let's just say you do all the things a wife should do. You do the complete opposite. Like you put me down, right? You don't encourage me. If anything, you discourage me. You always put me down with your words. You belittle me. you don't do what I say when like my foot is down. Like this is the path we're gonna take. And you're like, no, like you fight me on everything. Right? Let's just say you're like that. She's not like that at all. Right? The question I would ask you is, those things don't really make you a good wife because you're fighting me on everything, right? Even me, if I were to do that to you, that would make me a good husband, right? So my question to you would be, wouldn't you want to be a good wife? Because when you're a good wife, that would lead us into having a successful marriage, correct? Mm-hmm. Like, what makes a successful marriage? It all stems to, like, at the root of it, it's being a good husband and being a good wife. If you have a good wife and a good husband in a relationship, guess what that equals? A good marriage. I would even say a successful marriage.
Now, sorry, I just thought of a question. It's like, do people know like what you have to define what a good husband or a good wife is? Because maybe for some, they think doing X, Y, and Z is to make them a good partner, but in reality, it might not. Well,
this is where it all comes back to, what does it say in the Bible? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, what is the purpose? I think in order to be a good husband or a good wife, you need to know the purpose of a good husband and a good wife. And I think a lot of people don't even know the purpose. What's even the purpose of a good husband and a good wife?
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize that, and they don't ask these questions. And it's like, and to answer that, the purpose of a good husband is to, one, love your wife, right? Unconditionally. There are going to be times when I don't feel like I love you. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, love is a choice. I'm always going to love you, right? I may not always like you, but you can very well guarantee 100% throughout the rest of my life, I'm always going to love you. Because love is unconditional as well, right? It's not just a feeling, it's unconditional, right? So the purpose of a husband is to love his wife. And the purpose of a husband is to pursue and to bring forth his his purpose on this earth. Well, I guess that
vice versa.
Yeah, it does go vice versa. And that kind of goes with the whole purpose of things. But I would say the purpose of a husband is to lead the family. I think that's a better answer. The purpose of the husband is he's the head of the house, lead the family, right? Now, what's the purpose of the wife? Now, I would say the purpose of the wife is to help encourage and to help develop the husband's potential. Because, believe it or not all husbands are perfect.
Wow.
But every man, every husband, every guy has potential. And the purpose of the wife is to help the husband pursue, or even to encourage, or to bring forth, or to help take out of him that, not take out of him, but to help reveal that, his potential in his life. So again, I'm going to use this as an example, just starting this podcast. So my potential, I'm sure my potential is somewhere up here because I am a loudmouth and I have a lot of things to say. Mind you, I may not be the greatest at saying the things I want to say, but I'm working on it. And with every podcast that comes out, with you supporting me, you are helping to support and to bring forth my potential God has put inside of me. So I'll say this to summarize that. The purpose of the husband is to lead the family. The purpose of the wife is to help realize the potential and to help bring out the potential in the husband. It's basically there to help the husband, encourage him, help him. Those are the two main things. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Right? So now that we know the purpose of the husband and the wife, now you know how to be a good husband and to be a good wife. And you do those things, or you know how to be those things and those people and those roles. That is the formula for a successful marriage. Because I see, oh, I just thought of somebody. I see a lot in the couples around us, like in our friends group, the people who are married, where it's like the wife won't let the husband lead. Like the wife fights the husband on everything. And I've also seen the husbands not love the wife unconditionally, especially when the wife needs to be. There are times in a marriage where a husband will not feel like loving the wife.
It could be vice versa too.
Yes. But the thing is, the role of the husband is still of the wife. Mm-hmm. That's the whole purpose of it. So there are times where the husband won't love the wife, but those are the times where the husbands need to love the wife the most, is when he doesn't feel it. Like, there's a reason why God says, husbands, loves your wives. Because God knows naturally, like in our own human nature, like the sin fallen nature, that's the last thing we want to do. In reality, like if I didn't know Christ and I didn't know the word of God, my default would be to, let's just say you do something that upsets me. I don't love you anymore. Or I'm going to love you a little less because you did that. Like that's the default we fall to. That's why God says love your husband or love your wives. And that's why God says, so there are times where I'm going to lead a certain way or I'm going to make a decision on certain things. And there are going to be times for the wives where it's like, I don't want to do that. But that's why God says to the wives, submit to your husband.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the reason. Because your natural instinct to go back to the default sin nature, human nature, is, no, I don't want to submit to my husband. That's a dumb idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, God is smart for saying that because he knows that's exactly what we're going to default to.
Yeah.
So when we transform ourselves to be more Christ-like by renewing our minds to what God has to say. So again, daily meditation on the word of God and what he has to say about marriage, what he has to say about relationships, what he has to say about who you are, right? That will help keep our focus on the right things that's in our head. Because again, what you focus on in your head determines what you feel in your heart.
Yeah.
And what you feel in your heart determines the actions you're going to take, right? So you ever have those times where, I know you do, because I can think of so many scenarios, even for me, don't get me wrong. Have you ever had those times where it's like, man, I don't feel like doing this?
Yeah. I literally did that today.
Was it your schoolwork? Like you just don't feel like doing it. You're fed up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For me, dude, there are times when I don't feel like working out.
Oh, that's me every day, and I just don't.
That's terrible. But I still work. See, this is.
But you do, yeah.
I still work out. I try to work out at least 4 days a week.
Which is good.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually my workouts, if it's on the shorter end, they're 30 minutes. Right. 30 minutes, including my stretching and my mobility.
That's still long.
Really? That's really short for me. Like a good time for me would be 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Like that's a really good gym session for me.
Yeah.
I know for you, you just want to get it out of the way.
I think it's because there's so many things I want to do that I'm like, I could totally just.
Because you would rather do what you feel like doing.
Yes.
Okay. Now here's the hack. Here's the hack. If you can get yourself to feel like you want to work out when you want to work out.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? So then what do you have to change the feelings? It's your head. So what you focus on, your thoughts that you focus on in your head, can't you change those thoughts?
I could.
Like what would you, so let's just say working out example. We'll use that as an example. what would you focus on in your head, or what would you tell yourself in your head that you would focus on that would make you want to work out?
I guess one of them would be the outcome of it, like just being healthy, and I guess this is a little more personal, but just kind of like liking my appearance more, like with the outcome, if that makes sense.
Okay, so
Like being more fit.
basically liking what you see in the mirror.
Yeah.
I get that. Because, mind you, there was a time before I started working out, dude, I hated the way I looked. I was skinny.
At one point, you became chonky. You said I wasn't there for that though.
Oh, yeah, dude. Those were my powerlifting days. I was okay with that because I did have muscle on me, but I was... I had muscle, but I was chonky.
Was that the time when you got banned from Mandarin? Or kicked out, not banned?
It was before then.
Oh, never mind.
Like, I think the heaviest I've ever been was 169, 170. Mind you, I'm 5'3.5".
I was like,
That's a lot of weight on such a small frame. Like for some people who are like 6'1", 5'11", 5'11", right?
Like
they're like, that's not heavy at all. I'm like, dude, I'm 5'3.5", okay? So when you're 169, 170 pounds,
like, that's
a lot of trunk.
Yeah.
Okay? Mind you, majority of it was muscle, so I didn't look like fat or obese. But, I was definitely obese, but I didn't look as bad because I had some muscle to my frame, right?
Like imagine like those chonky cats. Sorry, you're like a chonky cat.
Yeah, kind of actually.
Yeah, because they're short and they're just like.
Yeah. So okay. So why wouldn't you? So if you know that working out is good for you and you want to position yourself to want to work out, what do you focus on more that causes you not to want to work out?
My feelings. Like, I don't want to... The circumstances.
What do you mean
like,
the circumstances?
Depends. Like, for now, I guess, ever since with school and work, I'm, like, physically... I feel, like, just tired, exhausted.
Okay.
So it's like, I just can't. And then I think of, like, oh, I gotta do, which I didn't do it, my schoolwork. Or it's like, oh, crap, I, like, gotta work from home. I gotta do, like... I don't want to say as excuses, but they are excuses, right? Because if you really
at the end,
you make time for it. And if you really want to do
it, For example, Condito critters.
No, we don't expose me,
dude. I like what you like. Like, it's cute, and they're actually pretty. Like, I look at them, I'm like, they're pretty cool.
People don't like it. Some people don't like it.
Dude, a lot of people like it.
No, I mean like. If I show up like, oh, you're spending money on this again, it's like, it's my money.
Dude, I don't think people think like that.
I'm not naming names, but yeah, don't ask. We can talk about this later.
People are like,
you know very well, but we'll talk about this.
She wouldn't say that.
Don't say it.
Is it Cliff?
No, okay. Don't say it.
He's the first person I thought of.
Maybe he would.
No, but he likes weird things too.
Say, but then he's kind of hypocritical, so I don't really care about what Cliff says. Actually, Cliff.
This is funny because you can talk like this about Cliff, but not whoever else you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, but actually, for Cliff, I will say for Cliff that.
So everybody, Cliff is his younger brother. Yeah.
Yeah. He is concerned since he knows the things that I like. He will at least go out and try to like buy the things that I like. He's getting better at it. Before, when I said Pachaco, he still got me like my melody chroming, which I like. But then he got the little key. Actually, it was Chris's idea. Never mind, it was Chris, not Cliff. Sorry, Cliff. Chris was like, "Oh, she'd like this."
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
Not
Yeah, but going back, dude, there's not a lot of people that would judge you for liking that.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's some...
I think you got to get that out of your head.
I have
that, and you shouldn't care what other people think of you.
It's because it's people that I'm close with or that I look up to, and then they're like, it literally says 3 and up.
Well, okay, so if those people judge you, those are the people I would choose, honestly, in my head, to not look up. Like, I wouldn't...
Or maybe they're not trying to say it in a judging way, but because of how I received it, it's like, why would you choose those words, your tone of like voice? I don't know if that's just me or also females like do this as well.
Probably.
Or depending on like how a person, doesn't matter if guy or girl, whatever,
yeah.
The way they choose like their words and their like tone makes like a big difference in how we receive it on our end.
Oh, totally. Well, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words have power.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
So even if it's like, I don't really care much of like those that I'm not really close with, but if it's someone you really look up to.
That's where it hurts the most.
Yes. Or you're like, yeah.
Well, have you told said person? I don't know who you're talking about, so
yeah, I'll talk about it later. I'm pretty sure they should know because I have like a whole like they know I have a whole office and you buy me stuff, and then the reaction is like,
well, see, this is where you're assuming. You're assuming they should know, but did you actually voice it out and tell them?
They went to my office, so they know how much I like appreciate it. I did call them out for a different story, but there were times where I'm really like upset. I would talk to them about it, but they kind of just shrugged it off.
Well, I think it's your responsibility to let them know. It's like, listen.
Communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the only way I'm going to change is if you actually tell me. Well, the only way you're going to change is if I tell you. Well, remember, I'll share this. Remember when, whenever I used to bug you, I still bug you.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where it's like, dude, my throat is like, so when I bugged her, she'd like choke me, right? In like a playful way. But then I'm like, dude, why am I always like, my throat's always sore and this and that. So I told her, but I had to be very, not in a joking way. Like I had to say the right words with the right tone. Like I wasn't judgmental or anything, right? Like I hope you didn't.
No.
I was just telling you, I'm like, listen,
like you're
because
serious.
because my throat is like feeling sore. I'm like, can you just stop doing that?
Yeah.
Like you can still hit me, blah, 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 whatever. That's fine. But I said that, didn't I? I actually did.
I was like, oh, I guess that means he's not as upset. He just wants to voice this out. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's what it was, right? So again, saying the right words the right way with the right intonation, I think it's your responsibility to tell that person.
Yeah, you
don't have to tell them multiple times.
No, I meant for you. When I tell you to stop, you still don't stop. And then even when I do my serious tone, then you still try to like turn around and be like, why are you smirking? Why are you this? And I'm like,
and then you keep smirking.
Because it's like when you say like don't press like the red button and then you want to press it, that's me with my smirk. It's just like automatic.
Okay.
But yeah. And then I tell you too, I'm like, whether I smirk or not, like I'm serious, and you still try to make me laugh.
Doesn't help.
See, I'm still like smiling. Maybe that's why I also look young too. I just always smile. And when I'm in pain, I go like face first on the ground.
It's like me. Maybe it's a defense mechanism.
Probably is.
Like whenever bad things happen, like at work or whatever, or something doesn't go my way, there's a lot of, I just laugh at it because I'm like, well, it's better for me to just find the humor in things than for me to be upset about things.
When I dropped my Dyson hair straightener,
I didn't laugh at you for that though. I literally just said,
you were like,
oh yeah, just don't drop it.
You were smiling like, well, still you were smiling. I remember because I looked at you and I'm like, out of all things you said that. But anyway,
but I meant it. Like, okay, so this is you gotta understand, like, so men, we're very logical. So if you said, oh, I dropped it and it broke, first thing I'm thinking is, oh yeah, just don't drop it.
That's like, I think it doesn't matter what, like, male or female. I don't think they just want to hear, the obvious where it's like, yeah.
For females?
No, even for males. Like, you even said this too. Like, don't, like, what's the saying? I don't remember what the saying is. But just, like, if you know that you shouldn't do it, just don't kind of rub it in my face.
But I wasn't trying to rub it in your face. That's the thing.
Yeah, still. When I'm upset, like, obviously it's like, don't drop. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I know that. Like, I see it on the ground. I'm about to cry because there was like a $600
straightener. It was a straightener, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, was that my gift?
That was the gift, yeah. From
that
like
was my wedding gift from like Brian and Cliff.
Well, okay. In my defense, I'm not even trying to defend myself. The thing that's going on in my head is, it's like, okay, you dropped it. Well, next, just don't drop it. Because I'm already in my head processing it. And I think all guys do this.
No.
Or maybe not. I'm just going to find a way to fix it.
Yeah, no, not everyone.
Right? Like, it's not a problem to me because I'm like, oh, something broke. Again, so I'm in maintenance, right? So I fix and repair, like, everything. So if there's something that breaks, it's like, I'll figure it out and I'll fix it. Do I know how to do it? No, but I'll figure it out. Yeah. Like, I already have that belief system in me. It's like, everything's going to be fine. because I've done it so many times. Like I've fixed so many things. So it's ingrained in me where it's like, this is just who I am. I got a problem. Something's broken. Okay, yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think for me, well, now it's changing where it's like, if I broke something, like I can't fix it, that's it. And I have to like buy a new one.
Yeah, you got married me. Yeah. Now you should know. So I'm letting you know. Now you should know. It's like, well, you're not alone. And you married somebody who knows how to fix things. And if he doesn't know how to fix things, he usually figures it out. So it's like, okay, no big deal. Could be $600 Dyson straightener or a...
Don't think about anything else I broke.
I can't think of anything else that you broke. I think that's the most expensive. Oh, no, your phone is the most... I did try to fix it, but man, that screen was janky. I did fix it, though, but it was the screen itself that was janky.
Well, it got ran over, so, you know... Who knows how many times?
Yeah, but I did get that screen on Amazon, and it wasn't an official screen.
No.
So I did fix it, though.
You did. It was actually for your...
But it's not my fault that the part was janky. The replacement part was
it doesn't
janky.
help, too, because it's Apple. It's like, oh, we detect that's not a real screen,
yeah.
so that's what kind of kept screwing it over.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah,
like
I was. I think it's just because I have that habit, like, I've been so used to when I'm, like, growing up, if I break something, like, not only... am I like in trouble and it's like, yeah, it's just broken, you can't fix it, then I gotta figure out how to pay for it. Like, you can't fix it, you gotta buy a new one. Even if I had a job, it's like, I'll pay for it. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to break it. So hearing this stuff like, just don't do it again, because I've always heard it in a lecturing tone, even if you didn't mean it.
I never say it in a lecturing.
Yeah.
Do I say it in a lecturing
No,
tone?
you don't. But I'm already in the thing where I'm like upset, and it's like, those are not the words I want to hear. I don't even care if you say it in like your tone.
Just a normal generic
tone. It's like I don't want to hear that. Like, even if you just said, we'll just think of it like, I'll fix it, don't worry. That is probably even a better way to word it.
Want to say that again?
Don't worry.
No. What was that whole phrase you said? Because I'm going to ingrain that into my vocabulary.
Oh, like, don't worry about it. I'll try to fix it. That's it.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Because hearing, just don't do it again. It's like, gee.
Hold on. Say that thing again that I'm supposed to. Don't worry about it.
I'll fix it later.
Can I say, don't worry about it. We'll fix it.
Yeah, like just that. Like, as long as it's not something where it's like, yeah, I know I should have dropped it. Like, do you think I did that on purpose? Like, no.
Wow, I just had an epiphany.
And I was
like, say it again? Say that again? Because, okay, see, so this is also part of marriage, right? It's like having these conversations. See, you think I should automatically know that.
No, I know you don't know that.
See, but now I'm actually listening. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. Did you hear that guy? Actually listening.
Say that again? So, if something breaks or you do something, all I'm going to say is, and I'm going to mean it, is, don't worry about it. We'll fix it.
Because I know you usually do fix like the little things, but it was like a $600 Dyson.
And I did fix it.
Yeah. But it's
twice.
Like, yeah. Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know, just knowing that there's a solution. Because I'm not thinking of a solution right now. I'm thinking like, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
I think that's your issue with, this could be your issue with everything, because this will leak out into other aspects of your life.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh crap, now, because you're always anticipating the negative.
Yeah.
Well, why can't... See, this is where faith comes in.
Yeah.
So, why can't you have faith for the positive outcome?
Because I'm looking at the circumstances, I guess. Or from previous...
experiences.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing, right? Because 99.9% of us... I'm going to even say all of us tend to live through our past experiences. Yeah. And I'm like, we can't do that. God even says we shouldn't do that. No, we can't do that because you won't be able to move forward. But instead, so experiences are there for us to experience. And if it was a bad experience, to learn from it, but don't stay stuck there.
Yes.
But instead of looking at past experiences where it was a negative outcome, look to the future for a positive outcome, right? Or for a positive solution. I think that's the better way. Yeah. So whenever stuff happens, for example, something breaks and you're like, oh, crap. My Dyson broke. How am I going to fix this? Now we got to dish out another $600 to buy this. And then it's causing anxiety and stress on you. Whereas like, well, that's just unbelief. That's just unbelief. Because unbelief would be the anticipation of a negative outcome. Where faith is expectation in a positive outcome. Right? So you get to choose what you want to do. So, and this is why God says, this makes so much sense. Everything goes full circle, is we need to renew our mind to God's word daily, because that's where everything happens. Yeah. That's wild, man. Man, God is smart. I'm just slow. But at least we're willing. Yeah. Because there are a lot of people who are just set in their ways and they're not willing to learn anything.
That'd be a good podcast.
What?
The power of willingness. There's not many people. Not many people are willing. Sorry, I just thought.
Willing in a sense of.
To do things. Like, even if it's like stepping out of your comfort zone, or you like.
I think there's a lot of things that play into that.
There's just a lot. Yeah.
Fear. Again, what is fear? Expectation of a negative outcome. Well, why can't you have an expectation for a positive outcome?
You just can't imagine it. Because the first thing they revert to is
past experiences. Yeah. Well, that's why there's stories in the Bible where there are always positive outcomes.
Yeah. But for people, they just read it like as if it's just something that's happened in the past. That's it.
They see it as like just a history book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But you could learn a lot from history. Well, and I think a lot of people don't know how to learn from history.
Like,
yeah, okay, you're right.
When I think of history, I'm not thinking about like, this is before. Now, like, you actually can learn from it. I remember when I was like a kid or...
Well, I think you can't really learn from it much because you haven't even experienced life yet when you're younger.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just like it just happened to pass. How does this have to apply to me? But then reality, as you grow up, you're like, I could see.
Wait, I see history kind of repeating itself. Like there's a pattern, right?
Or it's like, this is why we're here today because of X, Y, and Z. Like this happened because of that. And it's like, yeah. But that's as you get older. So I do appreciate history. I don't know much about history itself right now, but I do appreciate it.
The Bible. That's a history book. There's history in there. Like these are all recorded documents of things that have actually happened.
And it makes sense if you really think about it. It's like, oh, that's me right now. Whoops. And it's so funny when you're reading. I'm like, why'd you do that? That's
you can see yourself in those stories,
right? And then I'm reading. I'm like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, I literally just did that like last Tuesday. If I think about it, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
and I've done that.
Wait. Are you just saying in general terms, or do you have an actual?
No, in general.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what specific situation are you talking about?
If I like read somewhere like a story, I'm like, oh, I pulled that, didn't I? Yeah.
Like how one of the stories in the Bible that I always like to think about is the Israelites. Like God has always pulled the Israelites out of trouble.
Okay, well now I have to say that's literally me.
Right? But then the Israelites would always find themselves getting them back into trouble.
Yeah.
And it's their own fault.
Yeah.
For example, so remember when the Israelites, they were saved from captivity from Egypt.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so they were saved. They were taken out of captivity in Egypt. Right?
Yeah.
And then, so now they're walking the desert, and then they're on their way to the promised land. Right? And what do the Israelites say? Let's go back to Egypt, because over there, at least we had food, we had our rations, and we had stuff to do. It's better than wandering in the desert. They were in slavery. Like, why would you want to go back to that? But in real life, this happens every day.
Yeah.
There are certain situations we just got out of, but it's like, you know what? Oh, I want to go back. And I'm like, dude, sometimes we're just dumb, like the Israelites. It's like, dude, like you can kind of see the parallel, right, with stories in the Bible. Always the Israelites.
So I was just thinking about like how we're referred to as like sheep. And I was just thinking about that one sheep video.
Oh man, sheep are dumb.
Yeah, where like there was one video where the guy was he was helping the sheep who was like stuck in a ditch, and so he picks up the sheep. Not even like 5 seconds later, the sheep jumps
right back into the ditch.
Yeah,
and that I guess that's why God refers to us as sheep.
And then I saw this other video where it's like this guy, like he was just like voicing over like this like video of sheep. He's like, God thinks we're cute. God thinks that we're like sheep. So look at this sheep, and it was just like a dumb looking cute sheep. It was just, it did not look like that. But I was like, oh yeah,
that's kind of like us. That's kind of like me, right? But the thing that's great about it is God loves his sheep.
Yes.
God will leave the flock of 99 sheep to go find the lost one. That's how much God loves us, right? So even though you're dumb
or slow
and get yourself into trouble and it's only your fault, God does love you. And if you'll let him, he'll get you out of that trouble.
And even if there's some circumstances you can't control, he will still come and get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But usually it's our fault.
It's always our fault.
Even if we don't mean it.
Yeah, like, even if we don't mean it, even if we're ignorant to it.
It's just because we live in a fallen world.
Right? And again, going back, this is where we have to renew our mind to what God has to say every day. Because that mindset, whatever God has to say about our purpose, the path we're on, who we are, that will lead to a future of life. Right? I think that's a good way to end this podcast. This was a good one.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
You know, I think the strategy is you just get me this, like, any surprises in the beginning of our podcast. Because I was suddenly focused.
Yeah, you were, dude.
Like,
okay. So, yeah, I guess we'll end this podcast here. Until next time, until episode 12.
Don't do it.
I'm out. Peace.
Just doing it. Jimmy, you're shaking the whole table.
Sorry.
Bye.